Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? A gracious good morning to you. It's Friday, y'all. And I'm approaching Friday with both a sense of relief and I want to say a heavy level of pacificity. Now, I apologize to those of you who that word offends, but I need to say I'm not teed off, I'm not ticked off, I'm pissed off about something that transpired yesterday that just irritated my soul. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you what it is. Let me timestamp. As I said, it's Friday. It's 2:37 in the a.m. and it's May 8th. Okay, here goes. 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I officiated a memorial service. And, I did what I do. That's why I say, you know what I do and you know why I do it. I did what I do. Okay. It was respected by a few people that I'm in contact with, and they told me such. And, I am humble enough to know that if I am anything, and if I am successful at anything, all glory and praises to God. Okay? That was cool. So another individual came to me yesterday and said they want to have a memorial service for people that we've lost, in our line of work. And that's clients and staff. And they said they wanted to read a poem. I was like, oh, cool. The poem was by Langston Hughes. Now, this person is white. She said, I wanted to ask you, because I asked some of my friends, and they hemmed and hawed and basically told her no. I asked, what's the poem? She said, Mother to Son. I am familiar with the poem. As I've shared repeatedly, my degree is in humanities with an emphasis in creative writing. So I am familiar with the poem. Having had American Lit, having had African American Lit, I'm familiar with the poem. I said, you're not going to do the dialect, are you? You're not going to try to do the poem in any way other than it's written? She said, no. I said, do the poem. If that's how you identify pain, struggle, and suffering, do the poem. Another person who was in the conversation on the fringe asked, are you going to do a disclaimer? And my brow immediately furrowed. A disclaimer for what? Because it's a Black poem. Oh, okay. There's no such thing as a Black poem. It's a Black writer identifying with the Black experience, but the poem itself is not like a Dorothy Parker kind of Black poem. Okay, so cleared that up. I said, no group of people have a patent or, copyright on human condition and suffering. We all struggle and suffer on some levels. Even if you're rich, you have a struggle, and maybe you don't have enough money. How you identify your struggle and your suffering is a whole different animal, but we all have strivings, struggle, and suffering. So I'm listening to this person talk, about the black poem. And again, I explained. And I said the only words that need to be spoken on this poem, or over this poem, or before this poem, is what I just said. No particular individual has a patent on struggle and strife. And if this individual wants to read this poem, they just need to say that. Well, all right then. We gotta stop slapping hands and beating down people who want to know, who want to be in the know, and take the time to provide some education. Now, if they violate a boundary after you educate them, then you know what you're dealing with. Okay? Yeah, there's some people who receive the education but don't apply the education. You know what you're dealing with. But if someone is asking beforehand, is this going to be, Now let me share the poem. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time, now here's the dialect, I's been a climbing on, and reaching landings, and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark, where there ain't been no light. So boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on them steps, because you'll find it's harder. Oh, you'll find it's kind of hard. Don't you fall now. For I's still going, honey. I's still climbing. And for the life of me, I keep adding stuff. And life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So this talks about the step-by-step process of moving forward, knowing that stuff is hard, knowing that stuff ain't fair sometimes, knowing that you're going to be feeling your way, but encouraging you to keep on keeping on. Now, for me, I'm posing the question, what is offensive about somebody reading that poem? Now, the dialect that some of us have, and some of us pick up, that some of us, subscribe to, is a learned dialect. We're not the only culture that uses some of these phrases. See, when I hear Black folks speak of dialects, I also am very aware of the fact that some of the English we learned and we adhere to and we use is the same English used by the folks who held us captive. But somehow we're ignorant, or we're labeled ignorant, because I learned to speak Beauregards, or the captain or the colonel. I learned to speak their English, how they give it to me. What is more important? Words or supporting your fellow man through the human condition? That's my 2 cents.